What's up, guys? Mitch from RespectMortgage.com back with another episode of the RMR Plus podcast, episode 3. Got Sam Lachow in here tonight. How you living, man?
I'm living so bad, dude. You have no idea. Oh my God. Just so COVIDed up, quarantined, just Oculus. Man, I'm about to get out of here right now. No, I'm good, man. How you doing?
And in another dimension. I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, it's definitely been a strange few years. I keep telling people I feel like it's one of those time periods where like time moves hella fast in like the big view, but like day to day, sometimes it feels like it's moving slow. I don't know how you feeling through all this, the world shifting, kind of being back to normal, but still weird.
So, I mean, man, I like as far as like days go and weeks go, I have no am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, oh yeah.
No freaking idea. but to be honest, I had COVID like not all that long ago, and it was a nice. I'm vaxxed, boosted, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I got the chip in me. Man, the government got me fully, and I still got it. And I had a fever for 1 day, and turned out it was like 3 days. And yeah, woke up on Friday and was just kind of. That's basically been my life. Waking up on Friday, forgetting about the week, but now I'm doing better.
Yeah,
I'm in good health. How about you? You dodged the vid?
oh man, I got it like a year ago. You know, I'm an OG. I'm an OG in the
OG.
game. You know,
Yeah.
and I got it like probably a little over a year ago. It took me down, but
How bad was it for you?
I was pretty sick. I mean, at least at the time, I was one of the sicker of everyone I knew for like 3 days. But what's crazy is
You couldn't taste?
no, and what's crazy is when I lost my smell and taste, is I cracked a jar of weed, and I was like, you know, I always smell it when I crack it, and I put my nose in, and I was like, I can't smell this bud. And I
Wow.
was on the phone with my longtime friend I grew up with, and I was like, bro, I can't smell weed. Like,
Damn. I
you
never
know,
lost my smell or taste. Are you an anti-vaxxer?
oh no, man, come on. I just got the booster like what today, yesterday, I
Oh,
was something like
okay.
that.
I
Yeah.
feel like some Respect My Region cats are Tacoma, and Tacoma's into the anti-vax.
Nah, man, nah. Like, yeah, a lot of us now, you know, we've been moving around in LA a lot, and so like out
Oh,
there.
word.
But it's funny, like out there, like everything says COVID. I don't know, like at least the weed industry is shit. Everything says like vaccination cards required on the promotion, and then unless it's like a real official like business type shit, there's never anybody checking.
Yeah, in Seattle, they check that shit just to get into like bars and shit. But like I have my vax card and I still got it. Anyway, I'm sick of talking about Corona.
Yeah,
What's popping?
yeah, we'll move off that. Yeah, but no, I was gonna keep it in terms of like how has it been like touring? Because I know you've done some shows right during COVID, correct?
Yeah. Um Man, we got kind of lucky. So like there were we did like a pretty short tour, like mostly West
Yeah.
Coast, a little Midwest. But we kind of got lucky that we started up in Seattle and went down. So like we started where like everybody's vaxxed and shit. And
Mm-hmm.
I had a bunch of buddies that were touring that started like down in like Florida or like and they all got COVID like immediately and had to cancel their tours, and like it was
Oh
bad.
shit.
I know it sucked, but so we like got through to the end, and we're able to do the whole tour, which was great. Um, and but selling tickets is definitely like a thing. It's definitely like different. I get all these DMs from people like they think that I'm the one fucking
Yeah.
making the rules. They're like, I just can't support you, man. You're making us get vaxxed. I'm like, motherfucker, I don't have anything to do with this shit.
Yeah.
I could give a fuck if you come or get vaxxed. And
Yeah.
also, don't come if you're not. Just sorry, this shit bugs me, man.
Yeah, no, I mean it's affecting everything, you know. Like for us, like a lot of the way we made revenue pre-COVID was events, and like most people had a whole
Yeah,
year.
they think they're like fighting the government, but they're just fucking the independent artists.
Yeah, yeah. We're just out here trying to make a couple bucks in
I
your city and
know.
move on to the next one,
I'm
man.
not trying to put a shot in your arm and chip you. Like, chill.
Yeah. What is it done like for you, like creatively? Is like traveling and getting on the road, does that like impact your creative process, or You feel like you get the house anywhere.
Creatively, it's been like great, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I'm making, in my opinion, the best music I've ever made, and I'm also it brought me back to my roots of producing. I'm
Mhm.
producing like a lot more. I started out making beats,
Mhm.
and I sort of got in my head a little bit, and like self doubt, and sort of like thinking that because I don't know the programs as well, like all
Mhm.
the
Mhm. Mhm.
you know th- um the systems keep upgrading, and I feel like I can't keep up with it, and so I may as well just like hire people to produce for me and help me, and this made me realize that it's not really about the equipment, and it's about you know your ideas, and
Mhm.
it forced me to like make my own music from scratch again, which
Mhm.
at first was hard, and then it it sort of brought the joy back in a one of those blessings in disguise type shit. Like yeah, I'm making all my own beats from scratch again, and I'm just having more fun with the music than I have been in a long time, and that's partially thanks to being cooped up in my house with my dog.
Yeah, yeah, but I think it's like a lot of things in life. It's a cliche shit. You take a step back and whether you to reassess or whatever. But having that forced step back, like you just have to change the way you're moving, change the way you're thinking, your whole like environment. It's weird because it changes, but then you're stuck in a spot that doesn't change at all forever, and so it's like
A
it's
hundred
different.
percent, yeah.
It's different. I don't know, and I definitely feel that, and that's dope to see going back to the roots and getting creative because I think was that derived out of like necessity or was it like
Necessity, yeah,
boredom
and
or
not like this is sort of like nerding out on some music shit, but like, um, it made me realize how much fucking time and more than that money I was wasting in the studio,
mm,
like trying to. I was like coming up with ideas in the studio,
yeah.
paying by the hour. Um, Forgot that and now I would never do that. I make my entire song at home, like front to back, finish it completely, and then anything that needs a better audio recording or something, then I bring it to the studio, and at that point I know the whole song front to back so
Mhm,
well,
mhm,
so I don't have to make any. I was making creative decisions in the studio, which a lot of people do, but now thinking of that is just so dumb because, like, first of all, you should be allowed to make mistakes and not have to
mhm,
pay $60 an hour or whatever it is. And also, it's hard to make creative decisions when you got an engineer there having to work for you, and you kind of feel bad for him having to that you're taking too long, whatever.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
It brought me back to that, like, shit, I can stay up till 7 a.m. making some horrible shit until I figure out what I like. You know what I
mm,
mean?
mm.
And yeah, for too long I was that's how I used to do it. And for too long I kind of just stopped doing that. Um, so yeah, that was a big thing that it taught me, among a lot of other things, man.
Yeah, that's interesting though, because I mean, absolutely. The part of like for you being an artist and a producer, right? Like when you're in a studio, even if you're just going in there rapping over a fucking 2 track you download, right? Like it wastes money. It's not cost efficient to be recording your vocals in there without having anything wrote, like coming up with it on the spot. But having your
Yeah,
ability of
not,
where
not
you
even.
take and transpose songs a little bit more, it's like extra. I feel like
Oh yeah, I mean,
it
because
limits you, right, and to an
well, yeah,
extent.
well, with me, it's way more than just like a verse on a beat, because I'm making the beats and shit, of course. But even if, like, not even just writing it, like sometimes you'll write the verse in your head. Say I am just doing a 2 track, I'm going to the studio with it, and I have the verse and it's fucking filthy, and and then I record it in the studio and then listen back to it later, and it didn't come out really how I planned. You got to record it first at your crib
Hmm. Hmm.
and listen to that shit. And all writing is rewriting. You got to allow it to be a rough draft. It's going to be a rough draft. If you think the first thing you record at the studio is your final draft, then you're like me with my first album, and I would have re-recorded like every verse on it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, with this approach to creating songs, is that like, do you feel like you also are at the point now where creating at home, you have that ability to kind of drop something and then move on to something else and kind of move back and forth with like complete freedom of like, I don't know, not like you said, when you're at the studio, there's that I'm here to work on something. I got to accomplish it or this shit's a waste. You know, it's hard to scrap something and move on to the next. And that creates a weird psychological dynamic, you know?
That's true. For me, it's hard to scrap something no matter what,
Mm,
because it's just hard to when you're an artist, and it's just hard to admit that something sucks. Like you want to keep tinkering with it. Like I'm gonna turn this shit into something, and sometimes you gotta. And I never really give up on it. I just kind of like years later, I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that fucking idea.
mhm.
But sorry, what was the initial question?
I was just like, does that ability being at home just give you that freedom to kind of just
Oh yeah,
move
the
with
freedom.
like
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
takes away the psychological block of like having to do something a certain way. You can fucking go take a piss. You know what I mean? Like just freely go do things when you're in the studio. You might be like, I gotta do this before I go do that. You know, I'm on this schedule. Like, do you feel like it removes some psychological blocks?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like that's the main thing. And then what I'm still working at it and learning, but like I also do need that structure and that deadline, and I need to eventually bring it to the studio. And I'm kind of a dickhead in the studio sometimes, like because my motherfuckers are trying to party and like take the time. And when I now that I do all my partying and recording at the crib, when I'm in the studio, I'm snapping like we're on to the next.
Hmm.
Um, so like the studio, I need deadlines, and I need shit like that. And as far as like freedom to like do whatever I want, I've always sort of had that, um, and right now I have it more than ever. But at the same time with streaming and shit, like I got songs pretty much done that aren't gonna come out for like a little over a year that I have like finished,
Hmm.
because you got to put one song out a month and then turn that into an album. And like it's a I can't just I can't just be pumping out songs and just leaking them. It doesn't
Yeah.
work that way. And but it's good because then you're forced to like at first I didn't like that, because I wanted to drop my shit when it's fresh and
Hmm.
new,
Hmm.
and I wanted to drop the whole album at once, because I'm like, oh, this body of work needs to be just released all at once. And then it made me so when I started having to like switch it up to dropping singles, it was a tough transition, but it ended up making me focus way more on each song and
Hmm.
making my music better in the end. Um, because now it's like a song that back in the day would have been just some throwaway track on an album. Now it's coming out on its own,
Right.
you know, as like my like as a body of work with cover art, and people are gonna really like listen to it over and over rather than something I can kind of hide on an album. And like
Right.
it's got to be perfect, so it's making my music better too. Sorry, I'm rambling. I'm
No,
getting nerdy, but yeah.
you know, I come from a background of being more involved in music from the creative side. It's like that's a really good point. I never thought of that, right? Like as
Mhm.
consumption changes, as culture changes, tech changes, now we're seeing like health or whatever pandemic, what I don't whatever the fuck changes shit, and it affects everything, right? How we digest music, how we put out music,
Yeah,
and that's an interesting point that it is very much a single a smaller batch. Even the EP lives now, so it's not the album where you're like, "Yo, that's a fire song. I never got a tight hook for it or a tight
yeah,
bridge, but it fits. Let me just put it out because you can't really do that anymore. It has to stand on its own." And I think that's a really fucking unique point.
yeah. No, it's been a huge change in music in general, and how I approach it. And yeah, at first I was bitter about it. I want to put an album out and not. And but then what I learned is, even if you put the song out like months before the album comes out, when the album comes out, it gives that song another more
Hmm.
legs. You know what I mean? So it's not like, because at first I was thinking of it as kind of ruining the album experience, and instead it's just enhancing the song experience.
Hmm.
And if you think of it that way, it makes sense, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so you feel like for you the best formula, how many records do you feel like is the best formula to put out before you put the album out?
I mean, there's no. I mean, so right now I'm working on two. I'm working on three projects right now. Two of them are sort of more cohesive bodies of work that are probably going to have um, between 8 and 10 songs on them. They're albums, but like short albums, I
Mhm,
guess.
mhm,
And for those, I'll probably put 3 or 4 singles out. But until then, and those are almost finished right now. What I'm putting out before then is basically it's a project called Songs Without a Home, and it's basically all singles.
mm,
So I'm gonna have a single every month, and when the project finally comes out, it's there'll probably only be 3 or 4 unheard songs on it, type of thing. Like this is basically just an excuse to put out singles and put out songs that didn't make my last album, and
mhm.
um, so yeah, it could go any way you want it. Like some would say it's most smart to n- release every single song as a single and then put the album out and be like, fuck the album experience. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. Everybody's got a different approach, and then it's funny whenever something's made the formula, someone comes along and does something completely different, and like that's the reason they get on. Where it's like,
Yeah, and
know,
I'm not fucking Beyonce. I can't
right,
like I
right.
can't just or I can't just like leak a hidden album with 28 tracks and people will listen. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I got that would be fun, but I can't. I gotta d- you know
So, and
grassroot it up.
exploring that, like, what does it take? You feel like to understand like how you have to like how your fan base wants to consume your music, like, and how to feed them. What's that process for you look like in terms of over the years, just understanding like this is how I like whether you want to move a certain way or not, you have to stay within certain lanes to really like maximize things. What is that process of like learning that been? Has it been trial and error? Has it been trusting your gut from the start? Have you just been like, fuck it, I'm just me, and people receive that? What's that kind of look like?
Sorry, say the beginning of that one more time.
Like, and just in terms of understanding, like that part you were just talking about of just understanding how you got to do stuff, right? You can't do something
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
Beyonce.
yeah.
Obviously, she's an exception to any rule, but like just understanding how you got to put out music and your
Yeah,
system for
so
doing that.
so my answer to that would be basically something I had to learn. I'm also like in sort of a unique situation where I have a I don't have a huge fan base, but I have a very loyal fan base, and I sort of had to um, realize, and it wasn't that rather than constantly trying to like expand and make something that pops, I gotta cater to my fans,
Hmm.
and um, you know be more like it's more of a straight to consumer industry now in a way, rather than that's why I do a lot of things like Patreon or
Hmm.
this app I have called Community where I can actually text my fans, and it's very straight to consumer, and like honing in on the following you have, rather than constantly like how will this drop spread to these different playlists, and obviously you want to think about that at the same time, but if you're lucky enough to have a fan base, show them love. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, because that's a big approach. A lot of people try to be continually gain and gain, and I think there's a lot
that was me for a while.
to grow from
I was
within.
I was not I was taking it for granted for sure, and yeah, that's something that changed. When I sort of started turning this into more of a career and less of a party hobby,
Hmm.
I kind of had to think logically about it, and figure out what I'm good at and what to hone in on more, and I'm still figuring it out every day.
Yeah. And then as
Hope
far
that
as
makes sense.
yeah, no, 100%,
Yeah.
100%, 100%. And so for like music you put out, you feel like that people cater to. Do you feel like the stuff that people cater to the most is when you're just authentically and transparently yourself, or do you feel like it's when you're
I
create the
feel like it's
right
when I have the biggest water bottle that out of any rapper you've ever seen.
he's stunting.
Stunning. I'm so sorry. Say it again.
Stay hydrated. I'm saying, like, for your music, you feel like that people have catered to the most, like the stuff you feel like's connected the most successfully. Do you feel it's like the vibe and the sound, or do you feel like it's something about it where you like are just authentically or vulnerable in yourself, and people just really connect to that aspect of it?
I think it's. I mean, it's no matter what I say here is going to sound sort of cliche, but you know, that's what they say. They're cliches for a reason, because that's what it is. But like, um, it's very apparent that, because it's true, that I was never doing this thinking that it would be something to make me a living. This is something I would be doing 1,000% regardless of it being my job or not. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Um, it's you have to just love it. Like whenever I see someone that's doing it for any reason but they're an artist and that's what they do. Um, that's when I get worried for them. You know,
mhm.
because it can only lead to disappointment. Like, what do you gotta be. And I think another thing is like, um being an artist, like, this is I'm sort of thinking out loud right now because I'm getting older, right? So I used to, when I first started kind of gaining success, it was sort of weed songs and party shit. And thankfully, as when I got older, um of course there's still the people that are like, you should make shit like your old shit, da, da, da," like that'll always happen. The Jay-Z, you want my old shit, buy my
Mhm,
old albums.
mhm,
But like, thankfully I have my fans like rock with me and allow me to experiment and
mhm.
and fail and grow, because you gotta, because if I get bored with the shit, I'm done. Like, I'm not about to be putting out a whole bunch of banana goo pies or something, or it's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that I'm like, that people want me to make, that I know will make a couple bucks. I do what interests me, and I think that resonates. I probably got off topic, but
Nah,
yeah.
nah, nah, man. It's these, these are questions about a little bit about the creative process. I think there's a lot of power in even just talking that out loud, and even sorting through the thoughts on it.
Yeah, and I'm getting older, so it's something that I need to be thinking about, and I enjoy thinking about. I used to be scared to get older. I wanted forever young, fucking, and now I'm like, it interests me. I'm excited to kind of, you know beastie boy it up and grow with it and
Mhm.
try new things, and um
What
yeah.
are what are some pieces of game like the early you in this when you first started, getting something going, right? Starting to bubble past just putting some songs out. What are some things that you know now that you would tell that person in terms of music and growing that and the focus on that?
um to shut the fuck up. I would tell like shit I would tell younger me. I would say that you're not actually about to build a company with that person. You guys are just on cocaine. Shut the fuck up. I would say, um, I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's one of those things where I feel like everything kind of just happens how it happens.
Mhm.
Um, like, there's things I could tell past self to make myself more successful or something, but as I got older, it's the definition of success sort of changed. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
Maybe that's something I would tell myself is sort of remember why you're doing this, because there was a time that I sort of forgot, and I kind of thought it was about the money and the drugs and the girls and shit like
Mhm.
that, you know. Um, and I'm
Yeah.
glad I made it out of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
what would you tell what would you tell past you?
Past me, I mean, very, very similar. You know, I feel like what I said, like what you got to on that is something I feel like I've always spoke on because like I started making beats and I always thought for a minute like I'm just gonna make beats and be just Blaze and Dame Dash and one person, right? I'm gonna work with some artists and
Yeah,
cultivate.
yeah.
Like you mentioned Jay-Z, I'm a man of that era too. So it's like
Hmm.
that was my route, and for so long I feel like I was pigeonholed on that, realizing that I had other interests. It got me where I got me, so it's not like I'd ever same thing. I'd never would change that, but in terms of what I'm very passionate of, what I've come to realize is that the destination might change, but just staying focused on the goal is going to get you where you want to get. You know what I mean? Like the door you get to might not be the door you intended on getting to, but just walking down that hallway got you to wherever you needed to get, and just
Absolutely.
understanding that component of it rather than like you're saying, same thing, fixating on like some goal, understanding the goalpost moves, or you might even the field might even fucking change.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I mean, if your goal is $1 million, when you get that $1 million, what do you do?
Hmm.
Like I guess in a sense, I'm lucky in that I sort of saw success in my field, or I mean, by success I mean made a living doing what, which to me was huge, like
Hmm. Hmm.
not having a day job. That's all I ever wanted. You know what I mean? So like all the and then you learn that all the things that are there's getting fucking philosophical and shit, but the shit that
Just take a
matters
sip.
is just has nothing to do with success. Like it's all about the passion, and all the things I would have told younger me are all about relationships um and life, and what brings you happiness, and not trying to get a certain amount of fucking likes on my picture.
Hmm. And something I've continually found, right? Because we're of the same generation. Is talking to people from that have been doing whatever they're, I've never been a artist like yourself, but I've had my hustle, right? That I growing up around a lot of artists, I associate the same thing. It takes a similar type of hustle to build brand, artist name, whatever the fuck. But um, in doing that, fuck, I forgot. See, I lost where I was going, man.
No, you're good. You're
I hit
good.
the lead right before this.
You talk about
Um,
brand building.
Brand building. But just in that, fuck, I don't. I lost it, man. I had something good. I was about to go somewhere epic with it. Just
Well, so I mean, I could piggyback off that. Let's go to some epic places. No, I'm playing, but like there was a while. I still fucking hate. That's one of my least favorite parts of my job is brand. It
mhm,
is having to care about how I look. If I gain weight and look bad in a picture, if one comment on it something hurts my ego, like that type of shit is stuff. I mean, you grow to sort of learn to deal with it, but like image and brand, that it just doesn't interest. It's not as artistic to me as the music,
mhm,
and that's always been something that I struggle with. Like I don't even like. I think my name's dumb. Like it's just, like I don't I wear fucking white t-shirts, and like I don't have a I'm not a fucking who's a cool brand, Travis Scott.
mhm,
Like I like making the music, and unfortunately what comes with it is you have to have like a public
mhm,
image, and that shit's always never came easy for me. Um sometimes people will tell me that it looks easy, like it looks like something that I like, and I'm like, oh, dope, I guess I'm making it, but I'm faking that. I don't want to
mhm,
be on fucking Instagram.
mhm, mhm.
I like one-on-one conversations like this more than fucking just trying to get as many likes on a photo, all that shit. I
Yeah,
just like, if it were up to me, I would just put a song out every month, hide from the world, put another song out, do a couple interviews. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and that what I realized where I was going with that a second ago is I think a lot of things that bring the most success are usually when someone or something is just authentically being itself, right? And then sometimes you get
Yeah.
lost searching for these metrics, these validity metrics, whether it's views or tickets sold or fucking what, press feature. But ultimately, when the most successful things people that usually happen are attribute to like, hey, what do people continually tell you or your fans or followers, whatever, it usually ends up being something that's like authentically like I showed them a piece of who I really was. And
Yep.
that's what brought them into my fucking atmosphere.
Absolutely. That's what I always tell young writers when they show me their work and they ask for advice. A lot of times they the more specific you are in your writing, even though it seems like it only relates to you because you're talking about literally like your street and the name of the girl you kissed in that movie, the specific movie, whatever.
Mhm.
That's the shit that actually relate that people can relate to way more than if you just said I liked a girl one time in a movie. Like
Mhm, mhm.
you gotta tell your story because that's all you got. That's the only thing that you have that no one else has and no one can take from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's poetry, and that's a crazy point. You feel like at times putting out music, you feel like you focus less on that and more on just like the sound, and what did that feel like, kind of sacrificing authenticity or sound, or that's never been kind of your mo?
That's a good question because they both mean a lot to me. Like that's why like my favorite artist is mostly like Pharrell or Andre 3000. People that like Andre 3000, he'll have like the most beautiful melody, but he's also saying something so poetic and amazing. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but someone like Pharrell is he only thinks in sound and how something feels. And with certain songs, I don't give a fuck what the lyrics are saying. I'm going full on. I want this song to be a vibe.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about how the bridge connects into the hook and how it all accumulates into something and has replay value. And that's what. And then in some songs, I want to air some shit out that I'm going through and really talk. Sometimes I'm in the mood to make a beat and not and sing a little bit. Sometimes I'm in the mood to rap. Um, it, it it totally like my latest song that I just put out called Blind Eyes. I'm talking about some shit that that's on my mind, and that I guess that's a good example because I also love the melody of that, and in a way I felt that the melody sort of made what I was talking about hit harder
Mhm.
just because of the yeah,
When
if
they
that
when
makes
they
any
both
sense.
when they both kind of collide, right? Both of those aspects. When the vibe kind
Yeah,
of hits with some authenticity or some right, something a little bit deeper than
yeah,
vibe,
and
right? When those two worlds meet in the middle.
I felt like I hit on that a couple times in my latest song, and it's something that I'm constantly just working, trying to
Mhm.
get. I'll hopefully never perfect it, because then where do I go? But
Yeah.
that's what I'm constantly working towards.
So, and on that note too, right? Because you do a lot, and if you go to a lot of different like sounds, a lot of different soundscapes of the music you've put out over the years. What are some of the aspects of being an artist, like being someone that you can kind of produce, formulate songs, like you have a much more involvement than just a rapper, right? Being put in that box. But I do know anyone, no matter how creative they are, they have things like from the producer standpoint, they understand and can do, but aren't like good. What are some of those things that you like? Whether it's like singing, I don't know, really high notes, bass, like what are some ranges, some skill sets that you've like worked on and never quite mastered that have always kind of nagged you?
Oh my god, fucking everything, dude. Um, I've always been embarrassed at how little I play the piano. Like I can play like I can figure out chords, but but I always just get someone who's actually good at piano and tell them what I want to play. And I've always been sort of like that's something I want to get better at is get better at the fucking keyboard. Um, singing is something that I'm doing a lot more of, and that was another thing that I was sort of like, I kind of thought you either had it or you don't.
Mhm.
And you can get fucking better at singing. I didn't know that. I've gotten a lot better just by kind of learning about what range I'm better in, and where, how to project, and da da da. Um, fucking, I'd like to learn how to moonwalk or something. That'd be tight.
That'd be a nice one in the arsenal.
That'd be a nice one. What else? Um, yeah, I think the main thing would just be learning more instruments, and being able to do more on my own, because I hire out musicians,
And you
um,
and
which
you
is
colla
fine. But yeah, sorry, go on.
I said you collaborate a lot, whether it's singers, other rappers, instrumentalists, and does that come from just having such a big vision and being able to, like, see that, like, "Yo, I'm like, I need to plug someone into this part," or where does that kind of do you just enjoy working with people? What's the inspiration
Yeah,
behind that?
it's interesting because it's all of the above. Like, the main thing probably is just that I enjoy collaborating. Um, it's fun making music with your friends. It's fun. Um, there's definitely a part of it that, I went to Garfield High School in Seattle, which has an amazing jazz band, and like I was just blessed to be around a ton of amazing musicians, and in a way that kind of gave me slight insecurity about my musical
Mm,
ability. So kind of made me like, well, I'm not gonna try to learn how to play that because this dude's already way better. I'll stick to what I'm good. Um, but and I just kind of figured, if these people are amazing at certain things, why not bring them all together? I loved blending genres. I bring jazz. I love putting people out of their element. Jazz musicians, putting them on some hip hop shit, and the other way around. You know what I mean? Um, so I guess all the above. But lately, I'm trying to um, just because it, not for any reason in particular, but I'm trying to just do more on my own.
mhm.
Um, just because I'm interested in what I have to say, and I don't know what that is yet. But so and maybe COVID did that. Maybe just
Yeah.
fucking isolation did that. But that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah, but I mean, it can only sharpen, so you just sharpening swords, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's just sharpening swords,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, 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 yeah. And yeah, that just brings up, just don't like don't let fear prevent you from doing anything. Like, s- people gotta be down to try to sing and suck at it and put out some trash ass singing, and like you gotta not be afraid to fail. That's just pretty much everything. That's like the bottom line.
Absolutely. Otherwise, I mean, for as an artist, right, you're always going to stay in your pocket of comfortability, and times are going to change.
You're not gonna
The
grow.
sounds are going to change. Yeah, and then you're just not going to grow, even still. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's all about growth and evolution. I mean,
And yeah, and with that comes failure, and 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 fans not rocking with you. Like, that's why Kanye will always be one of my favorite artists. And everyone wanted another college dropout, but he put out Yeezus. You know what I mean? And because he does what he wants. He's a true artist. He does what
mhm,
he wants to do. He knew that album wouldn't make as much money as making another sample based late registration type. You know what I mean?
mhm,
He's
mhm.
doing, but that's not what interested him at the time. He was interested in some weird fucking whatever Yeezus was, and that's why I fuck with him.
I fuck with him too, but I would have taken College Dropout 2.0 instead of.
Yeah, not me, not me.
All right. I respect it. I respect it.
I would have been like, I mean, unless it was what he wanted to do, I guess.
I
But
feel you.
I
And
like
that
Yeezus also.
And for me, I didn't really like Yeezus, but it was definitely it jolted his career to where he is now, and he's definitely made some shit since then that I really like. That process was a part of getting there. Adding some of those fucking metal elements and taking it to like just some different vibes, different places.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm choking on that big ass water bottle. But Yeah, I don't know about what he's doing now and shit, uh, but that's
He's
besides the
he's a
point.
he's a different topic. How'd you
Yeah.
approach? How'd you approach? One of the big things because we featured him on the blog back in the day. One of the big things I know that really got you popping, not popping, but a lot of people talking and just really tuned into your music and showed off your collaborations. The Young Seattle. I mean, you did quite a bit of those. How did you approach working with artists on that? Was that just natural shit that you were working on with people, or did you build like kind of
that's
map out specific episodes?
that's actually one of the like w- when it comes to sort of like, I kind of think of that those days as I actually have a new one coming, um with a crazy lineup, um that it's dope, but I think of that part of my career. That's one of the things I'm most proud of. I- that was kind of a different time,
Hmm.
but why I'm proud of it is it's sort of the Young Seattle series sort of, um help me with the wording on this, like it uh our generation, it gave us like it kind of encapsulated
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
scene
yeah, yeah.
then, like, at least for me, the Gifted Gabs, the Nachos, the Dave B's, you know um and that's who we were kicking it with every single day, and that was the scene, and so I feel like I played a good part in sort of documenting that in a way. And but the reason I made them is just because I was fans of these artists, and I was
Mm,
like, man, how dope would it be to have this motherfucker on the same track as this motherfucker with the production from him, and
mhm,
just trying to
mhm.
make something wild. Um, yeah, and bring people together. Like, that's when I really felt like a s- involved in the Seattle scene in a
Right.
way, or
That was
our
a
own thing. I don't know. It was a
Yeah, I
different
mean, that
time.
that was a different era, and that was definitely a good, like you said, it's definitely like it's not like you're like stamping or giving validity, but it's definitely like you said, encapsulating kind of what a lot of, and it was a lot of different sides of the scene, different parts of Seattle, different, different neighborhoods, different backgrounds, different experiences, all but all
Exactly.
in the same generation and like coming together. And for us as like a blog or sharing that shit, it was like one of the few times where you had a single piece of content with like 5 or 6 names attached to it. So from even just from a marketing, I'm a marketing nerd, like a marketing standpoint, just the organic reach you're going to get from doing, there's not very many things that did that. And so it was
Was
like,
that cool? Was that cool for you guys to see when those would come out and shit?
yeah, and I just, and like I said, I think like even the way like I approach, I don't really
That's
do
cool.
shows, but like shows or tastemaking or curating, right? I've always thought about not just who would sound good, but I've always had to think like, because I'm not an artist, right? I'm a guy that puts money up on shit. I have to think like, how can
Mhm.
we reach people? How can we actually bring people together? And it's getting people from different bubbles, they come together and we got a big bubble, right? If too many people are in the same bubble, if it's all on the same song, all on the same show lineup, you're only reaching the same fucking bubble, right? Like you
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
more people, and then you just that gives it more legs to potentially, everything can expand, right? It all has its, its ceiling or its whatever. But anyways, it just
Absolutely.
created these things that I feel like that expanded and just honestly transcended outside of Seattle to people that were like, what's going on in Seattle, right? Is a picture
Mhm.
in, and it's not just one person. So I can't look at you and be like, I hate you or I like you. Now it's like five. Now it's like, okay, well, he's nice. Okay. It's like
Hell
you
yeah.
get it, you get a window.
Yeah, and for me, that kind of stuff was just a bonus. Like, for me, um, everyone sounds so different. Like, if you listen to any of those Young
Mhm.
Seattles, from each rapper to the next, purposefully sound completely different than the next one. Because that's what I'm into. I'm into contrasting sounds, and um, so I was putting people on a track that I thought would sound interesting together, and would normally be on the same song, and I wasn't thinking of it at all from a business standpoint. I was
Mhm.
trying to
Mhm.
make something that, as a fan, I would want to hear. Um, and again, bring back, like, and that resonates. Like, the stuff that you're passionate about can also be marketable.
Mhm.
That is what's marketable. You can, people see through it if you're trying to just make some put the most, if I was trying to put the most pop in it, that's not what I was doing at all
Mhm,
either. I was
mhm.
trying to put people that I liked, and yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah,
about.
yeah, and no, and I think, and that's testament to, I think, where two different things lined up, right? Where it came from a completely artistic standpoint, creative standpoint, but it happened to line up in this way of marketability, if you will, right? It wasn't from the design. You can't design that, right? If you approach something from how can I make the most marketable thing, that's not gonna stand, right? That's usually not gonna stand the
Yeah,
test of time, right? But certain things
unless you're
that are
DJ
put
Khaled and you
together.
have $1 billion, you can say, I want Justin Bieber, Chance the Rapper, Quavo,
That was
and
the same
a bunch
exact
of bitches.
example that came to my head when you said that. I was
Yeah.
like, Justin
then
Bieber.
you kind then you can kind of do that, but
You can buy your way onto the Billboard, 100, man, for
I
sure.
mean, yeah, if you can.
If you got the right influence and pockets, you can make it happen. No, but I just think that's like one of those examples, like why things, and I think anything, like why shit pops off is because there's something authentic. There's something, it's not there for the money, it's not there for the marketing, but it happens to have a component that can, what I mean? When you take it past just music and add business and look at music business, right?
Yeah,
When both of those fucking words can work in harmony in the same phrase, if you will, that's when shit can really start, working, at least in my opinion.
absolutely. And there's definitely art to the business.
Absolutely.
I can tell that like you're passionate about it, not just in a trying to make money way. It's artistic for you.
Yes, very
Like
much so.
like yeah, like you're. I can tell you're actually passionate about it, and yeah, and that's what makes it fun, and that's why you do it. Like if you were in this for trying to make the most money, you'd be on Wall Street. You'd be doing something
Yeah.
else. This is
No, I,
this
I
is
would I would not be touching fucking music at
yeah,
all, man. No.
exactly. Like
I would I'd be doing real estate or some shit, man.
exactly. Yeah, like we'd all be in different careers if that's where our mind was.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's where for me, right? Like I came from creating music and I realized that the same thing I loved about sampling records and making beats, like that same thing of seeing between the lines of something and turn it into something else,
yeah,
that didn't just work for music. And that's why I'm always like to younger people, right? Like my original, what I thought, I dropped out of school, thought I was gonna be like a producer or some shit. And like I don't even say I hung up because I failed. I just like found some other shit and was like, wow, like this is like the same. But I would have never got there if I didn't drop out of school thinking like, yo, I'm gonna do music. I'm gonna work at
yeah,
studios and just smoke weed and make beats and shit. Like, like, but I
yeah. I
got,
mean, same thing happened to me, but I got kicked out of school.
yeah,
But
well,
pretty much the same shit.
they almost didn't let me back in because some shit that happened one time. But
Yeah,
yeah, anyway, yeah.
I don't even. I was literally paying people to pick my classes for me. But my freshman year of college, I was gonna get a communications degree. I don't even know what the fuck that means. And I got booted out of there for a bunch of shit. And thank God. I
So
wonder if I would. Yeah, I don't know.
how do you approach like collaborating with people? I know you said you like what came out, and I feel like when you said it, I don't know if you've said it previously or just makes sense with what you've done is like, making music with your friends. Like you said, that's like what you enjoy the most. And that's, I think, attributed to a lot of the things you've done that's successful. What makes a good collaborator to you?
I'm here.
He's off screen hitting the bigger
I'm
water,
here.
huh?
I'm here. Yeah, I had to hit the bigger water. So in this day and age, collaborations change so much, and I think for the better. Like, yeah, it's dope to like be in the studio with someone and cooking up, but I think it's just as dope for different reasons being halfway across the world from somebody and being able to be in your own element cooking up and sending it to them and them being in their own element and like it's a whole different the fact that we're able to do that,
Hmm.
obviously there's something super cool about linking up in the studio and letting the creative juices flow and shit, but I love this new, let me get weird and tries it's especially with me, like I can't sing for shit. If I'm trying some singing shit, let me hit some wrong notes alone without you not in the studio with you. You know what I mean? And then send you something when I figured it out. And and there's nothing more exciting than collaborating with someone and getting their verse back emailed to you and getting to hear the shit, you know. And sometimes I feel like it can be a little bit better because they're in their element, you're in your element. Yeah, I sort of answered a different question there, but
no, but I love that because it's very relative to where we are now.
yeah,
and I can definitely understand that. You get that MP when the MP3 lands in the Gmail, man.
oh man, did the Drake vocals come in yet?
Oh man, so new music coming out this year, man. You said 3 projects on the way. Are they all coming out this year? You got a plan with them? You're gonna see how it rolls?
This year the project that's coming out is called Songs That Are Home. I just dropped a single called Blind Eyes, and that's on the project. The last single I dropped before this was called Cocaine Drought. That's on the project. Before that, I forget what it was, but that's on the project. Before that, I forget what it was, but that's on the project. It's basically a bunch of songs that don't have a home. It's not. It's just a bunch of bangers. It's not a cohesive, like, there's no narrative to the it's an excuse for me to get to make a bunch of slappers and have some fun and try some things. So it's a really fun project. And then while I'm doing that, I got 2 other projects in the works. One's with my sorry, I'll get through this quick. Both of them are with my best friends. One is a rap project with one of my best friends, Ryan Campbell. We've always wanted to make just a back and forth rap project together. Okay. The other one is more indie pop with my other best friend, Maggie Brown, who's a great she goes by Maggie Lumet with our stuff. And our last project was called Play Pretend. And this is sort of what we wanted Play Pretend to be. It's sort of the sequel. And it's some of the most excited I've ever been for music. Not a lot of rap, but it still has hip hop elements. And
okay.
Yeah, I'll send you some shit, man. Hit me.
Yeah. Please do. You said that one's exciting you. The non-rap shit's exciting you more, or just in general to create
yeah,
right now?
It's all exciting me. I think there's definitely a reason why I have all these working on at the same time. I need to sort of fill all these whatever things.
all these creative ideas coming in. You just got to get them out.
Yeah, maybe I'm distracting myself from the fact that the world's ending. I don't fucking know, but regardless, it's helping.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you joining us today. Look out for the music.
I appreciate you, man.
I'll hold you to it. Please send some shit over. We'd love to check it out.
Yeah, you got my number, right?
Yeah, I believe so. If not, we won't.
If not, get the number, here. And I'll right now I'll text you some songs I'm working on if you'd be interested. And yeah, thank you so much for having me, man.
100, Sam. Yeah, and so I know you're not going to plug it, but at Sam Lachow on all social medias, go check that out for everyone out there.
At Sam Lachow. Yeah.
Follow, all that
Follow
shit.
Me.
Send digital love. All right, man. Well,
like all my pictures, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, 5 comments. Whoever comments the most.
Whoever comments the most wins a fucking trip to Yakima.
Ooh, Palm Springs and Washington, man.
Yeah. Rehab, baby.
Hey. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you hopping on here, Sam. And for everyone out there tuning in, we'll check in with you guys soon.
Peace out.